Newcastle are six-time winners of the FA Cup, but their last domestic honor came in 1955. Newcastle super scorer Alan Shearer has admitted that his chances of winning an FA Cup are coming to an end, and for him to keep his dream alive, he must advance past his former club, Southampton, in a match that was played at St. Mary's Stadium. Alan Shearer, there he is, and some say he's the best striker in the Premiership, and no argument here. He has the credentials. 15 of his 26 goals for Newcastle is just over 57% of the team scoring. In comparison to James Beattie, he has 41% for Southampton. Here's Shearer with the ball, the pass outside to Aaron Hughes, then into traffic. The ball would fall for Kieran Dyer, and he makes it 1-0, beating Antti Niemi. The goal in the 24th, and that is Dyer's first goal of the season. Sir Bobby Robson had a hunch about Dyer, and the England international did come through. The cross by Hughes on the pass by Alan Shearer, and then you'll see Norberto Solano with the slight glancing header as Dyer would chest it, then strike. And the behind-the-net angle, you'll see that both defenders converged after Dyer had the ball, but it was a little too late at that point. 39th minute, cross for Newcastle, a corner, and it's cleared, but right to Laurent Robert, and he pounds it through to make it 2-0. The ball drops in on a super huge crowd. It's cleared, but obviously not enough. Robert with the goal that hits Niemi on the way in. The ball was at the feet of Jonathan Woodgate, but he didn't know it. Beattie gets a boot on it, but put it right to Robert. It was 2-0 after 39, 2-0 at the half. Second half had just one goal, and indeed it was a beautiful goal, and it was from the player that scored the first one, Kieran Dyer.
Now Shearer can just tuck this on, he did, to Dyer, and Dyer's quick in these situations. He's going to take on Michael Spector. He's clear. Kieran Dyer, what a great goal. Oh, that's one of the best goals of the third round, surely. Dyer is back with a real bang. 67 minutes gone, and Newcastle are almost out of sight. 3-0 now. Dyer's second, and what a nice astute flick here by Shearer that put Dyer away. He's got Buzz Brutton. Now it's a matter of Michael Svensson. He's away from him. He tucks it away from the Amy Trevor.
And what a goal that was. 3-0, John Motson with the call there, and he was referring to Trevor Brooking, the analyst. So last year's FA Cup finalists, Southampton, are knocked out of the competition with the loss. Kieran Dyer ended an 11th-month goal drought by scoring twice. Dyer hadn't scored in 31 matches for Newcastle and another 5 for the national team. There were 28 matches played in the third round, but we are just focusing on the Premiership teams. Man City and Leicester requires a rematch. Borough, 2-0 winners versus Notts County. Portsmouth were 2-1 winners versus Blackpool. And Tottenham, 3-0 victors over Crystal Palace.
In other FA Cup action, First Division Watford home to Chelsea Saturday. The hosts entering the contest 19th in the 24-team second tier of football in England, while their visitors, well, they're third in the Premiership, loaded with high-paid talent thanks to the free-spending ways of owner Roman Abramovich. So this one, well, it either sets up as a mismatch or what the FA Cup has been known for, a chance for the underdog to have his day. Conditions wet and messy at Vicarage Road, and things looking sloppy for Chelsea in the 5th minute. Paul Devlin passes to Neil Ardley. His cross headed over Neil Sullivan. Heider Helgeson getting the head to the ball. It goes off the bar and then down. Referee Alan Wiley says that's a goal. Wiley consulting with assistant Dave Bryant and signaling a Watford goal. How about that for a start? Judge for yourself. As you get a closer look, the ball strikes the bar, goes almost straight down. Doesn't appear to have completely crossed the line, though. Regardless, assistant Dave Bryant, as mentioned, says it's in. The goal is given, and the advantage goes to Watford. Shortly thereafter, more from the upstarts. Paul Devlin with good work again. This time he crosses to Micah Hyde, and Hyde just nods it over the bar. Ahead to the 27th minute. More good work from Watford, all off the right flank. Hartley with the cross, Sullivan with the butterfingers. That sets up Paul over Nazo. His shot cleared off the line by Desai. As you see, Hartley's cross gives Sullivan fits. Desai prevents Watford from doubling their advantage. About 5 minutes later, Chelsea get a life. Jesper Gronkjaer takes the long ball and heads for goal. On his way, he is taken down by goalkeeper Lenny Pidgley. Ironically, Pidgley on loan from Chelsea. And now facing a Chelsea penalty. You saw the call given. Heider Gudjohnsen will take the penalty kick for Chelsea. And Gudjohnsen will promptly tie this match at one aside. Celebration is short-lived, however, because believe it or not, just a minute later, Marcus Gale beats Neil Sullivan to the free kick, setting up Gavin Mann for the easy 2-1 goal, and Watford has the lead again. However, late in the half, Chelsea will pull level. Jesper Grønkjær tracks it down, passes to Johnson. Johnson across the top of the box to Lampard, just inside the left post it goes. And this one's all tied at a pair. These teams with 4 goals in the opening half. Still 2 as we skip to the late stages. Chelsea with a free kick. Jeremy denied by Lenny Pidgley. He looked very good in making that save. Full time just around the corner. Watford earns a corner, and they threaten. Danny Webber on as a substitute will catch up to this ball, and he will supremely test Neil Sullivan, and close Sullivan makes the sprawling save. Moments later, the final whistle sounds. Watford and Chelsea, a 2-2 tie, forcing a replay on the 14th at Stamford Bridge. The fans at Vicarage Road more than satisfied with the result in this one. And continuing our look at games involving Premiership teams in third-round play in the FA Cup. Kevin Nolan scores late. Bolton ekes out a draw with Tranmere. Birmingham avenges last month's Premiership loss to Blackburn at Ewood Park, thrashing Rovers 4-0. Duncan Ferguson scores twice, both on penalties. Everton passed Norwich 3-1. 3 goals in just over half an hour, lifting Gillingham to the upset of Charlton. The Addicts going without Scott Parker and missing him, to be sure. Captain Alex Ray's goal in the 90th minute earns Wolves a draw with 3rd Division Kitty. FA Cup third-round action continues Sunday. 4 games on the menu. Manchester United's pursuit of the 9th Premiership title not at issue when they travel to Villa. Liverpool travels to face Yeovil, each side down a key piece of the puzzle. Host minus suspended striker Jake Edwards. And the visitors learning Saturday keeper Chris Kirkland will miss another 2 months due to complications of that recent broken finger. Fulham will host Cheltenham at Loftus Road. And Leeds will be desperate to keep their hardware hopes alive as they entertain the Gunners at Elland Road. And we've got some good news for you. FA Cup action across the entire Fox Sports Network Sunday.
A great cup fighting tradition, a full house, a touch of mist. It had all the makings of a jolly green giant killing. And for the first half, the newcomers to the league, cost of team £60,000 to Liverpool's £52 million, looked likely to turn the aristocrats from the Premiership over. Liverpool had Jerzy Dudek to thank for reaching half-time on level terms. Williams' pile driver was goal-bound. The pole was stretched to the limit to keep it out. Gerard Houllier had good reason to look fed up. Minus Owen and Gerrard, his team was struggling. But the introduction of another England man in the second half proved the turning point. Emil Heskey soon had Yeovil out-muscled at the back. His physical presence was what Yeovil encounter week in, week out at lower league level. And it allowed Liverpool some space to show their extra class, Smeetser hitting the post. The glum scouts' faces who had made the long trip to the southwest were about to be lit up. Just past the midway mark in the second half, Heskey found himself some space in front of goal and scored his 8th goal of the season. Within 9 minutes, the tie was safe. Harry Kewell went down theatrically under a challenge just inside the box. On second viewing, there appeared to be little contact, but penalty, said referee Neil Barry, and Danny Murphy made it 2-0 from the spot. All was hush at the Hewish. Dudek had to make a flying save to keep out Yeovil at the other end, but it was over by then. The giant killers of old could not be reawakened.
The visitors were in front inside 5 minutes. Grant McCann's long-range effort beating Edwin van der Sar, and the Northern Ireland international clearly enjoyed his moment of fame. But Fulham were level 8 minutes later. Sylvain Legwinski setting up Saha, who lobbed Cheltenham keeper Shane Higgs.
To be a popular destination.
While Aston Villa are 4th on the all-time list with 7 FA Cup titles. Sunday's match played at Villa Park. Over 40,000 at Villa Park as well, and it's Villa in dark. United's Paul Scholes loses the ball on the challenge, and Nicky Butt fouls Pete Whittingham. Gareth Barry picks up the loose ball and strikes from well out, and the ball just hops inside the right side corner on keeper Tim Howard. 1-0 Villa after 19 minutes as Barry picks up the loose ball, and a strike that obviously takes a deflection on the way in as it finds the corner behind Howard. Plenty of replays of the strike, each one of them showing the change in direction. 1-0 for the home side. And England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson, a interested spectator, taking notes on the match. Later in the first half, this is John O'Shea, and he was in need of some medical attention. Plenty of blood on this one, and it certainly looked gruesome, but he was all right. This is basically what happened. It came from a corner kick, and he collides with an opponent, and he gets an elbow in the head. But he was all right. As you see, he had a little bit of a tape job, but he was back in action. It was 1-0 Villa at the half. Sir Alex going with a couple of subs. Ruud van Nistelrooy in for Diego Forlan, and there's Roy Keane in for O'Shea. That changed the dynamic of the game. 63rd, it's Keane inside to Ryan Giggs, and he cuts it in front. And see Paul Scholes just come diving in there. He ties the match at 1, beating Thomas Sorensen. Maybe Sorensen overcommitting on Giggs here, as both Scholes and Ruud van Nistelrooy were left unmarked. Either one of them could have scored that one. And Giggs with all the attention, and it's 1-1 after 64 on the first goal by Paul Scholes. 4 minutes later, United on the attack. Right side, it's Giggs with the cross and Scholes with the touch. 2-1 as United complete the comeback. Paul Scholes with the goal in the 68th. And that was all the scoring in this one, as United scored 2 in the span of 4 minutes. Giggs the cross, and there's Paul Scholes with the goals to make it 2-1 the final at Villa Park for Manchester. Appearances in the mid-60s and early 70s, having won in 71 versus Arsenal, but they've lost 3 other finals. Arsenal, they're the defending champions. They've won this competition 9 times, twice in a row, and are second on the list with 1 less title than Manchester United. Those are the stats. Now to Sunday's highlights of the match, and it's Leeds playing in white, and there's trouble in the Arsenal backfield. Lauren can't clear the ball. Dominic Matteo charging. It deflects. Sol Campbell back to Jens Lehmann, and did you see that? Mark Viduka charging the keeper, and it goes off of Viduka and in, and it's 1-0 Leeds on a real brutal defensive display by Arsenal. Here it is again, Viduka charging Lehmann, who really showed too much of the ball there when he tried to control it. But it started here with Lauren failing to clear, and this turns out to be a good lesson for young strikers. Never give up on the ball, and I guess young keepers as well. Don't play the ball too casually. A good lesson for both, as Lehmann just let the ball get away. So it's 1-0 after 8, but Arsenal get that back in the 26th. Freddie Ljungberg with the cross, and there's Thierry Henry with the one-timer as he beats Paul Robinson. And Henry's one cool dude, don't you think? What a celebration that was, or lack thereof. Nice finish by the French international. Good build-up from Arsenal. Campbell, Canu, Ljungberg, then Henry with the finish, and it made it 1-1 after 26, and more to come from Arsenal. The setup man, Henry, 7 minutes later to Edu as he pushes the ball forward, and it's 2-1 after 33, 2-1 at the half. Second half, Henry receives, controls, and rolls the ball for Robert Pires, and it's 3-1 after 87, and that sent many Leeds fans home. And unfortunately for them, or maybe fortunately for them, they didn't see the next one, which is yet another Arsenal goal. It's Pires the cross, and Kolo Touré with the goal. 4-1 Arsenal. The defending FA champs keep rolling along. 4-1 the final at Ellen Road.
Thanks for lots of anticipation around match.